Hello there. Could you please introduce yourself and tell us where you live?
My name is Adam Chodos. I live in Northfield, Illinois, right north of the city.
This is my husband. Um, Adam, can you talk about the changes you've noticed in your local environment over the last several years? So, temperature, seasons, changes in plants, and things like that.
Yeah, so over the past couple of years, I've noticed, every year the seasons are starting to change. This year's a perfect example of actually having a spring in Chicago. I haven't remembered a spring and something this warm or this dry in the past 20 years. So, over the past couple of years, we've seen it get drier, a bit hotter in the summer, winters aren't as long. So things are going kind of to that climate point.
Okay, I agree. I've noticed similar things. And when you think about these changes or changes that could start to happen in the future, how do you imagine that you, your family, your community is going to be affected by climate change in the future?
Yeah, like being in like the Midwest, we always took for granted like the source of the natural body of water we have with the Great Lakes. Like I've seen it downtown, I've seen it down here. Is that the constant rivers are rising throughout the city, coming stream down effect into the suburbs, and then you see all those people's lake houses along Lake Michigan, all their beaches that were 150 yards in width, and now are down to pretty much up to the face of cliffs. So you've definitely seen the water rise, which is coming all the way from the north, and we see it continue to happen. So the worry with that, and then the worry with just the hotter climate and drier summers.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree. I know for me, Lake Michigan has always been so special to me. Growing up here and spending so many summers enjoying it. And I know, fear of losing beaches and things like that definitely makes me sad. And I have plenty of my own emotional responses to different facets of climate change and the way they affect us. So would you mind telling us a little bit about how you feel about climate change? Basically any emotions you feel about how it affects us, any uncertainty in the future, things like that.
Yeah, like, climate change is one of those things that is, it is very terrifying. There's a lot of things that, the trickle-down theory of everything that comes with it, all the tsunamis and hurricanes that we see throughout the nation every year, and the numbers that just keep on rising and rising, that, it is something that's becoming a very large concern in our community and every community in the U.S. and across the world, that it is truly something that has to be addressed, and hopefully will be addressed in the coming years.
Yeah, it's definitely scary, especially when you see all the natural disasters happening around the country, and like the forest fires and hurricanes. It's especially when you have family in those areas, so it's scary. And I guess along those lines, like, how do you imagine the future? And I guess realistically, and not more like, how do you want the future to be as well? What kind of world would you like to see in terms of the relationship between humans themselves, and then between the human race, us, and our climate and our environment?
I hope in the future that people start to take climate change more seriously. They'll start to take our environment more seriously. It's kind of our, as a human race, it's our decision of how we want the next 50, 150, 200 years to go, and it's kind of in our hands to take control of that, make the positive steps to continue on with it. And it starts with little movements, then goes on to larger ones, and hopefully as our kids are raised up, that things start to make a bigger difference, and that we just become more sustainable, more environmentally friendly.
Yeah,
in the future.
absolutely. We want to be able to raise our kids in a beautiful world and preserve, all the beauty that is on this earth, and make sure all of our fellow humans are with all the resources they need. And yeah. Well, thank you very much, Adam, for
Thanks for
speaking
having
with me
me.
today. It's been great to hear your thoughts on the subject. And
Perfect.
thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.